that. But let's go ahead and get into this next match, a best of 5 between Envy and Excel. With the commentary is Shogun and Lawler. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Axel. And it is going to be our second game in our European broadcast, Excel versus Envy. And for Excel, if there was ever a time for them to beat Envy, I think it's right now, a wounded giant at this point.
Yeah, Envy's been struggling the past couple of weeks, but for Excel, a lot of their stats have been padded simply because we've only seen them 1 week. We haven't had the chance to see them averaged out yet, but they did play well in the play-in as well as last week. They did have some struggles here and there, but the big question mark has always been Pondex. Is he going to be able to step up in Dan's replacement? And a lot of it has been just simply he needs to be on offense. They need some help somewhere to help that ball and just keep some sort of pressure, and that's what Pondex did for Penta. So it has a chance. It just hasn't really shown to the fullest extent yet.
You see, Zenzis and Niels could have stuck together for such a long time at this point. Last season, playing with Dans didn't work.
Right.
Gfinity Elite Series, playing with Lunation, didn't work. Pondex is their best opportunity, and I feel like if this doesn't work, those two need to split.
Yeah, it's something that we're starting to see a lot more. The big story, obviously, in the offseason for this Envy team is Remco and Maestro aren't playing together anymore. Might have been a good decision considering that, you know, we don't see Maestro at all in the RLCS. He's in the RLRS under the leftovers, but it's one of those situations where these power duos that we've seen for so long are now starting to split apart because of how the playstyle is changing. Talking to a couple of the other guys in the off time about how defensive it is and how good people have gotten at making saves. So the creativity, even though they have to keep it simplistic with the touches, you know, going for double touches and stuff like that, just they're too calculated in the aspect. They're too telegraphed to where if you're making an extra touch in the air, that's only buying me on defense more time itself. So they have to be very quick and to the point, and it's difficult when you've been playing with the same person for so long.
Well, you brought up the leftovers just there, doing very well right now in the RLRS. For Excel, they've kind of been put down. Many people see EU as a 6-team region, as if the 6 that we see going into playoffs are pretty much locked in. It's not quite like that just yet, but for Excel, if they want to avoid potential matchups against teams like the leftovers, like the Juicy Kids, who are performing so well right now in the RLRS, you've got to be winning some matches, getting wins against just your fellow competitors down there. You have to avoid those bottom 2 spots. This is one of them. You have to be trying to get some of them from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of those teams that are going to be fighting for that spot in most of our assumptions to keep out of that relegation promo series. So for them, if they can get a win over the reigning world champs, good way to start it off with only 1 game so far for them in the RLCS this season.
Well, FlyQuest, with their performances yesterday, will give them hope that there is a possibility of turning their season around very quickly indeed, as we're in week number 3. Devo, though, wants to keep that pressure going early on in this game, but Pondex getting it over to Niels Cook. All 3 members around. Pondex looking for Greasy. A very physical league it has been so far this season across both regions. I'm looking forward to seeing how that continues.
We saw a lot of bump play coming out from North America yesterday.
Pone just spent a lot of time on that wall. Had to make sure it went well, and it's just about worked out. I would have liked to have seen him completely remove himself, though, and get over to that back corner so he could rotate in from the back post, because he had enough people around that area to deal with the ball anyway. Steve-O puts that one up high. He's going to try and go for it. There was no way he was reaching that of 11 boost.
No, one of those situations where I understand Devo wants to get involved early on, build that confidence. But at times, you need to be patient. Just ease into it.
Zenzis. And Pondex comes in with the clear across. Now he's going to take it yet again. He's not going to have enough boost to keep going. But it was enough to just put himself behind the ball and force Greasy to think about what he was going to do next. Excel looking solid to start out this game. Big long ball, only over to Zenzis. Excel trying to control that midfield area. Niels Cook's going to take his time, and Greasy can't go up for the challenge. He's going to have to try and wait for the ball to come to him. And he has done so. Devo coming in. Player that is so dangerous whenever he's on 100 boost. In fact, it's been the way he's been described to me by so many pro players as a 100 boost player. Go in, get boost, do the thing, go back, get boost. Is usually his way of play.
Going back to our dodgeball reference yesterday?
We got that wrong yesterday, and I feel like that might be the worst thing I've ever done in my commentary career.
I mean, second chances are cool and all, but probably should just let it go.
I'm just going to put that one as a loss. That's an L on my record right there. There's a long ball, only over to Pondex. Put that one up again. How much has Zenzis got to work with? He's got enough. He's put it onto target, but it's only down the middle. Devo rotating in well, using that back post, and gets it over. Excel and Envy going tit for tat right now.
Yeah, back and forth. Haven't really seen much in the first half of the series so far. But a lot of it, credit going over to Excel. They're not afraid to challenge. They're crashing onto the ball with no hesitation.
No net, but there's going to be Devo just in time, rotating himself over. That shot was any more to the other corner than it would have been a goal. But Devo gets himself rotated in. Now he plays the one over the top. Here comes Remco and Greasy, but it is going to be Zenzus there in time. The traditional back third is Zenzus on this Excel roster, proving why just there, using very smart rotation. Here comes Pondex. Gonna go in, and there is the double tap, and that is gonna be the one goal for Excel.
Well played by Pondex, turn off ball cam, just allowing that to rest perfectly onto the top of his car. Plays it up, and nobody contested him. 2 on defense. Someone needs to go up and contest that, but still the double touch, difficult to read off that backboard. Excel strikes first.
Ball now off that backboard yet again. Envy gonna be trying to get this one back. They've got 2 minutes to do it in, but there's gonna be another shot. Pondex getting a lot of space and a lot of time to take as many shots as he wants. And he's gonna be lethal if he gets as much as he's hoping for. Long ball from Zenzus. Pone will try and do something with this, but doesn't get any contact. Now an opportunity for Envy. Moving forward, here's Greasy, layers it, but goes on to the crossbar. Now once again, trying to use the setup, using that backboard. But Envy are struggling really to break anything down. Too many of their plays too close to the Excel net. This is an opportunity. That's the problem we saw a lot during North America yesterday as well. Is if you play that off the backboard too often, defenders are right there. They are not going to move far to try and play the ball correctly. And they can usually get a decent block on the ball, if not just clear it outright.
Despite Excel spending a lot of time on defense, they've done quite the job matching this envious pressure. Every single shot, every single pass is pretty much going uncontested. No, they're going to challenge that. They're going to get right in the face of this team, and it's working out well. Able to defend this off.
A shot straight up. There's Pope. That's not a great save. Does need someone to come in and help clear out. Niels Cook's out of boost, so the shot won't be too dangerous. But right now, the big question is, can Envy get any shots off? We saw it earlier on. Remco, with only 1 shot so far this game, is the core of the rotation for Envy, so he's usually a very good indicator of how well they're playing as a team. And if he's shooting low, then it means that they are struggling. Devo has to take this ball. They've got 20 seconds remaining now to try and get a goal. Otherwise, Excel are going to take game at number 1. They're going to need 2 goals now. Niels Cook turns it in.
Mistakes on defense, but credit goes to the pressure. Pondex with that beautiful read has a player challenging him, and he pinches it back to his teammate, puts a shot directly on net. Then the mistakes come out from there, able to capitalize on the opportunities created. And it looks like Excel is going to try and sneak away with game number 1.
The way I've always been describing Excel when we talk backstage is the landmine team. The team that is definitely being put down towards the bottom of the table, but could ruin a team's season if they're given space to do so. For Envy, will Excel be their landmine? Because currently Excel are now up 1-0.
You know, it's interesting as well because, like you mentioned, Remco's kind of the one that holds the team together. He's the foundation of the team, but there was a situation where Devo had the opportunity to get a goal. He played it past 2 defenders, but he actually got a second touch at the end of it that popped it up into the backboard. Normally we see this envious team play super aggro and they're able to get that next man in the rotation and put a shot, but nobody was there. But Devo had a wide open net. He had the goal opportunity, and that might have changed the entire pace of the game. Them striking first, them getting that confidence, then that pace that follows afterwards as well. But just little things, again, plaguing this envious team. They haven't been looking like they normally do.
The best way of describing Envy over the last 2 weeks is something that we've seen from them before in different iterations, but it seems to have been a consistent, which is sometimes there is too much thinking going on. Too much, okay, this could possibly go wrong, this could possibly go wrong. Let's focus on defending. When they are best when they control the midfield, get a hold of those 2 middle boosts, and pressure their opposing team into their own half. But last week, we didn't see them do it against Flipside, and we didn't see them do it there against Excel.
Yeah, they had the same issue when they played Method, obviously, in the first week, where it's just they get, like you said, in their heads too much. They just need to simplify it. They understand, like, mechanically they're insane. The passes are there. They know how to make the touches. It's just they spend too much time thinking of these what-if situations rather than just saying, you know what, let's just play some Rocket League. Let's have some fun with it. And it's difficult, too, because there's a lot of expectations for this team being the previous world champs.
So Excel, can they now take They're winning game number 1 and convert it into a solid series for themselves. Niels Cook's going to be the first player to try and take this on. Excel looking a lot more solid as a trio so far this series. It looks like everyone's finally settling into their roles. It's a team that was somewhat haphazardly thrown together just before the end of the registration period. Senzus going to be looking at it a long time. This will be a decent block attempt. And now Devo with the shadow can move himself forward. Senzus is completely low on boost, but pass play was too close to the net once again, and Zenzus' rotation just good enough to get the flick.
Seems to be the story so far this series. Despite these touches not being perfectly cleared out or anything, it's just they're just good enough to get over the top, to buy themselves some time, to allow them to clear the ball out. Devo's going to contest, doesn't even need to. A long goal for Remco.
Sometimes if you just jump, you can scare everybody. Remco, long ball for him. He's not going to be too upset over that, I doubt. That is a weak goal to be giving away if you're Excel.
Yeah, Zentz was in the right place at the right time, just read the bounce wrong. Sometimes you just need to slow it down a little bit, but difficult to do when you see a flying Devo.
That can be a problem at times. Sometimes players can respect the name just a little bit too much. You think to yourself, there's no way he ever gets this wrong. Something that became very useful when fakes and that sort of stuff became originally sort of brought into the scene. Less so nowadays. Now people respect the fact that you will probably fake them. Now played up to the corner. Envy will need to try and convert this 1-goal lead into a win. As Excel tried to score a long goal of their own. It almost went all the way. Breezy looking for some boost. Not going to get anything though, as the ball is now down in the XL end. They've got to try and find a way out. This is going to be very telling now for Envy series. This is usually where they shine ever so brightly. Their ability to squeeze their opponents into their own end, completely resource staff, and it is working out pretty well. The shot, though, not good enough. But Envy still continuing on. Niels Cook is going to have to try and charge down for midfield. Boost is going to pull him out of rotation for the time being, but his teammates working well together, and Zent's playing up high. He gets the dunk! Almost managed to take it all the way to the net, but Remco comes in with the clear. Almost counter-attacking play there for Excel. You've got to respect their offense.
It just seems to be both of these teams are trying to play so fast, especially for Excel in the corner. You saw Zentz's, even before the ball went up, he jumped to try to pinch it off the wall. There was no pressure on him. All he had to do was just drive up and clear it. And those opportunities just aren't being capitalized by either team. They're just trying to force these, and it really doesn't need to be done. The slow pace, the slow, methodical, pre-thought-out plays would work.
Wow, Zenzus just slapped the boy right there. But Remco gets just in time with the block. Opponent looking much more comfortable in this rotation than I've ever seen him before. Greasy can't get there in time. Potentially expecting to need to block the ball, but nothing of the sort happened. Ball now played over the top. Zenzus made contact, but didn't change the trajectory of the ball enough to really test the oncoming challenging defender. Now Envy have an opportunity to try and make this too. Devo up on the wall. Low boost from the looks of it. That's going to be missed from Greasy. And Remco going to think better of moving forward with that 1-goal lead. It's definitely the smarter decision to make. Passing play into the middle. There's Niels Cook, one of the top goal scorers last season, and they need him to be this season. Coming in and lovely slot away there.
Clean pass, an unfortunate touch from Remco. That ball bounces out, and he just doesn't get the pace on it to bring it up the wall. Immediately responded from Excel in the right place at the right time. Plays it back inside and a shot on net. All tied up in game number 2.
So boost stolen, but Podex takes the ball. Resources traded there by Excel and Envy. There's going to be another long ball from Podex. Wants to get off that backboard, but if there's any man that you trust on that backboard, will be Devo, although Envy have not been too convincing on this clear away. Excel now going to try and control this midfield area. They've got a hold of pretty much every single boost in the midfield, but need to now find a way through. Ponex with a demo on Greasy as well will make this even more difficult for Envy. These long balls will not work. Greasy's going to come in though with at least 30 boost. And that actually helps him out as he gets the ball away.
Envy just seems to be having difficulty clearing it out of their own end. Credit definitely going to Excel. They're getting up in those high lofted clears and just shutting them down at the midfield.
I've been impressed by both of these teams so far, though. It looks like they are playing at least solidly. Very few mistakes being made. And they're both pretty much running the same sort of strategy as Ponex.
Oh, no.
Looks for the negative angle. He's got it.
That hesitation, just assuming it's going to hit the backboard, you can't let that happen. Ponex with a beautiful touch, but you see it there on the bottom. Remco starts to move to the left. He's like, no, backboard. Greasy will get the rotation in. It's fine. But that slight hesitation is enough to let Ponex just get a free one.
So there's going to be a kickoff win there for XL. Half a minute remaining. 2 goals to go. XL could put themselves on match point.
Taking full advantage of this kickoff. You see Greasy trying to rotate around to get a clear, but just doesn't get under it enough. And the issue with it is it pops it up. Instead of playing that down far, the issue he gets with it is it plays it right into the middle. And the attacking XL able to punish him.
Every single player now on XL with a goal. Sharing it around, that's going to be a shot. It's going to almost, maybe quite. Oh, no, it won't. Envy.
Oh, just tickling the goal, man. Like, put it in, come on. It's again, it happened.
After the results of last week and the way this match is now going for them, you could definitely forgive them for being very slightly upset, but they're going to have to put that now behind them because they have now got to force a reverse sweep against an emerging XL.
Going to be a difficult situation for Envy. They're finding the opportunities, they're putting it in front of the net, they're just not able to secure the goal. There's a couple times where it's just settled in front, and just that third man hasn't been there, and you got to call him out in this situation. I haven't seen Greasy really anywhere on the pitch doing anything helpful. Like, there has been a couple times where he has made touches just to continue on the play, but nothing with confidence, I would say.
Yeah, I agree, basically. Remco actually looked fairly solid that game. I'll give him that, but unfortunately, you're not going to do it as a one player in this. So far, they've got the ball into the middle. They're looking solid with that. But unless XL are making rotational mistakes, they're not really getting anything for it. It seems like Envy are struggling with one of the big things if you want to be a top team in Rocket League, which is the ability to not necessarily take advantage of the mistakes from your opponents, but to force those mistakes.
Yeah, they just haven't found that middle. Like, they've got A and C down, moving the ball downfield and shooting it on the net, but they need that mid person to just continue that, and they haven't been able to find it just because he, in reality, hasn't been there. I don't know if it's Greasy's positioning or what's going on, but he needs to get involved, and I would love to see him be that early aggressor that we normally get out of Greasy. Just let him go. Like, forget rotations, forget everything else. Just, Greasy, hit the ball that way, towards their net, and see what happens. Maybe that'll free up options. Maybe that'll create some opportunities for Devo, because we know what Devo can do the air, and you know Remco's going to be able to back up any mistakes that do happen.
Well, we were talking about Ponex coming in and what he offers the roster of XL when we started off this game. Greasy also the new addition to this Envy roster, and questions have started to spark over these last few weeks, especially after a poor week last week, especially with that loss against Flipside. It's time to answer those questions. We're now in game number 3. Sense looking for a second touch. He's going to get it, but a third touch is the absolute last thing he wanted, taking it away from the oncoming attacker. Pass over to Remco. Lovely 1-2 play. They're going to need a little bit more than that, though, on the side of Team Envy. Niels Cook controlling. He's got Zensus to look for. Looks to the flick instead, and Greasy's going to read that one pretty easily. They'll play all the way down. He's going to effectively hand the ball straight back over to XL, coming towards the end of the opening minute. Played up yet again, but it catches the arc. It'll be much more difficult for Zensus, but he's unchallenged and scores it anyway.
Exactly like you stated, though, he's unchallenged. Just the ability to freely pass this ball. Niels Cook plays it up high and extremely lofted, but Zensus is the only one to go up for the contest. Someone on this Envious team needs to use that back wall, jump off, and try to get something in the way. His free shots, they're showing that the accuracy is there.
Well, Remco was in 2 minds about it. You saw his car turn around, looking to maybe go up the wall, but instead thought better of it, expecting Zensus to get there before him. And because of that initial hesitation, just couldn't react at all to the oncoming shot.
Yeah, we saw that same situation with Ponex getting the goal. Yeah, that flick back from middle, and just that slight hesitation again, and it's good. You know, we talk about respecting the opponent, but at the same time, you know, you put trust in your teammates and you have expectations like, okay, if this one thing happens, this guy will take care of it. But if it doesn't go according to plan, everything falls apart.
All 3 members up. Grease is going to be the one to take the shot. Struggling for shot accuracy and shooting percentage now is Greasy. Just Remco would have loved to have had about 20 more boosts going for that. Here comes Niels Cook. There goes Niels Cook. It's Greasy putting that one up high yet again, but only over to Pone. These backward shots will not work out for Envy. Seems like Excel have got those reds. Really would love to see some more infield passes, though, from this Envy squad. I know for a fact, I mean, Greasy came from Flipside. That was a very good infield passing squad, especially last season. I want to see that transferred right now, but it seems like there is maybe a styles clash when it comes to the offensive philosophy.
Just seems to be that they're having issues finding that cohesion. When they're on, by all means, they're on. They look fantastic, but we just haven't really seen the consistency of it yet. Just haven't been able to find that pacing.
Niels Cook straight to the side up to Ponex. That's a bad touch from Ponex. Greasy can tear it out. And Greasy, he hits his old friend, hits the crossbar. He's going to come in for yet another one. That's going to be a shot on target. Ponex gets a save, but also is clouted out of the way by Niels Cook. Sensus comes in and clears up. Excel, if they can hold on for another 2 minutes, they're going to take a huge win. And not only that, but a sweep against our defending world champions.
Step in the right direction for Excel with only one game for them so far this season, showcasing that they are not meant to be taken lightly. As this envious team trying to find something in the back of the net. This is the first time that we've really seen any siege from them consistently as a 50-50 win, allowing Greasy the open net.
Really like that there from Remco, recognizing the situation, recognizing they can just get himself in the way, uses the law of angles to push it straight over to Greasy, and that is going to be a hugely important goal.
Yeah, the awareness from Remco to double back on that as well, rather than rotating out and giving them space and allowing Devo to pressure, just immediately gets up in the way and creates an opportunity. That's the stuff that we know Envious for and expect out of them.
Seems like Remco and Greasy could possibly work a little bit better if they were to try and hold themselves in the opposing end a little bit more. More micro players rather than just hitting it and looking to follow up.
Yeah, we saw a lot of crashing on the net yesterday. It got interesting to say the least when bumps were involved.
Maybe some more of those. Niels Cook does win the aerial challenge. Greasy also challenged by Zenz. That could go the entire length of the pitch, and Ponex has been beat, but unfortunately, shot not on the net.
Ponex reading that really well too with that pinch.
Sort of thing right there. If you do get that pinch right, it's the best thing ever. If you get it wrong, pretty much always just stops and moves itself over in front of your own net.
It's crazy how it does that. It's got like a magnet.
Niels Cook looking for the shot off that side wall. Excel just looking to pepper away, see if they can pull a defender out from that goal line. Remco's not got the greatest touch, forcing Devo to come in for the save. Help him out just a little bit. Niels Cook just taking his time, giving it over to Ponex. Ponex, though, does not have enough boost to move forward. Final 30 seconds. Envy, it's all on them at this point. Can they find a way to break down Excel, take this win, and send us into a fourth game? Or will Excel get the goal and put this series to bed? Here comes Niels Cook. Opportunity to push out. He's caught the awkward part of the wall. Just wasn't awkward enough, and no one on Excel pushed up to really go for the shot, and Devo looking for the clear. Nice attempt there, but we are going to head into overtime. Must win now for Envy.
Overtime indeed on match point for Excel, showing and owning the pace of this game so far. But the reason why we're here, Envious was finally able to create an opportunity in front of the net with that 50-50 tied up. But it's been back and forth. All it takes is one mistake.
Another long ball. It's going to be Remco. He's got it past one. He looks to try and take it past two. Greasy needed to be stuck behind him to give himself some more angles to work with. But well played there from Remco. Every single time you force one of those challenges, you take a player out. Always a worthwhile return. Is Remco looking to get out of that backboard. Niels Cook will be beat, but he does get enough contact, taking it over the top of the oncoming charging Remco.
Well, a pass inside, playing across. Unfortunately, Devo wasn't able to get there in time. He had that opportunity, but a good trap by Greasy, read easily by Niels Cook. And back and forth these teams go yet again.
Another long ball, Excel Trying to press forward. They're going to see if there's a mistake. Neilscook tries to shut the series down. Now Devo against Pondex, who struggled to control the ball, but Devo still made something out of it with pretty much no boost. Now Remco gets one. That backboard once again covered by Excel. Just seems like a no-go zone. But this could be something. Devo takes it past to the side. There's going to be nothing come of it. This could honestly, Lawler, go either way. Both these teams looking a little bit shaky at times, although I must say Excel looking more likely to drop.
I know you said it's the no-go zone, but I kind of want to go there. It just sounds fun because it rhymes.
Are you going to rise against the establishment again, Lawler?
Why not?
It's no-go zone. We put the sign there for a reason.
I'm doing it. I'm going to go to the no-go zone.
We can just not take Gibbs. He's not tall enough.
All right, that's fine.
Diva looking for a way through. Here comes Zenzus, trying to control. Ball up high. Here's Remco, though. He's got Devo, but Devo doesn't quite make contact. Remco can still control, but needs to try and go for a block. Didn't want to commit. Now Neilscook down to the other end of the pitch. Lovely challenge there from Devo. Pushes it straight into the midfield. 2 minutes of overtime now played. And these guys still unable to break each other down. Once again, Envy looking for those long balls, almost forcing a mistake. Reezy wanted to see where Neilscook was going to play that. Envy, once again, starting to settle down in this midfield area. Starting to control everything. It'll be interesting to see now where Excel sits on boost.
This overtime is exactly what Envy needed. The fast play style
Oh,
approach.
is it though?
Oh, no!
It really isn't. And Excel have taken it in a sweep.
It's unfortunate. They were sitting at the midfield. Remco was just waiting for a pass out. But all it takes is one. A long clear from Excel is going to give them the 3-0 sweep over Envy.
They had it all there. They set up the siege, they had the catapults, they had the army. Unfortunately, the ground got blown up underneath them. And it is going to be Excel taking this series, and we said at the start of this, they need wins against that top 6 that everyone's been pointing towards. That is the one. That is a much-needed one. And they can now start pulling someone else into that battle. Maybe that might be Envy. Could you imagine?
Kind of, based on how they've been playing. Like, just over the last couple of weeks, it's like, what's going on with them? But you saw what we're used to in that last bit of overtime where it's like, okay, the pace is going up. You saw the mind games coming out from Remco. Like, they really controlled. They weren't afraid to play fast, but they also weren't afraid to slow it down as well. That mix-up is what makes Envy so good. But then it's just one mistake, and they go back to the chopping block. It's like, it must be frustrating, and I understand it, but at the same time, like, Excel dominated that game. Pace all over the field, the ability to contest everything. Like, the lack of hesitation was the big difference maker for Excel there.
So, we saw it yesterday with FlyQuest. Excel currently on the same track to complete the 2-0 week. We're going to see them play later on today, so make sure you are around for that. But for the time being, we're going to hand it back over to Axel Toss.
Excel with a sweep that they needed. Excel, they were at the bottom of the standings with this win over Envious. That's going to give them some momentum, and they did it pretty easily. Envy, on the other side, they have some work to do. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high-performance replay. We are certainly surprised about this result. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Envy, week 3, honestly, they're 1-2. They have to turn around, and they're not able to get it done.
It's surprising that the champions have fallen this much, but honestly, based on the last few weeks, it's not that much of a surprise seeing Excel come out and take them down.
Except in a sweep and seeing MB only score 2 goals, that's really surprising. Devo, back-to-back series now, completely shut out. 0 goals, 0 assists, and it's code red now for Envy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Remco has never had a team that didn't get 5 wins in league play, and now the most that they can get is 4. They're sitting at 1-3. But Excel, it's only game number 2 for them in this season. This is a great win for them, like a great start of their season. Don't forget about week 1. Sure, they lost to Gale Force, but it's Gale Force. And now they can go in and be like, all right, we have this confidence now, and we can push forward. Neil's played really well. Pondex is kind of that Devo factor from the World Championship. When you give him space, he can shoot an incredible redirect. We saw 2 great plays from Pondex, solo plays. And Neil's been solid. Zenzus turned around his season. Season 3, very poor. Season 4, he's been great. So this is huge for Excel. And Envy, like, it doesn't get easier from here. Every single matchup is so tough. So
Even top 6 is a question mark now for them. can't, who's going to finish in that 7th, 8th spot? It seemed like Secret, just like NA Alliance or Allegiance. They're probably locked in for that 8th spot, but Envy now, the defending world champions, might not even make it to the regional championship unless they turn this ship around. But really, Excel handled them quite well, and like you said, Pondex I thought was just fantastic. He really had those difference-making shots, and you could really see the sails the wind getting taken out of the sails of Envy when Remco had that shot. I think it was in game 1 or game 2 where it was right on the goal line.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go in.
Yeah.
And it's just moments like that just make you so upset as a player.
Yeah, and the barely a save. And huge props to Excel playing an amazing series, getting a 3 over Envy. That has to be a huge confidence boost for them. They're going to be playing in a couple matches. But one more question here about Envious. They're playing against Mocket. At the end of the day today, how important is this match for Envy? And what do they got to do? What conversation has to happen between now and their match against Mocket?
There's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of conversations. Remco is going to talk to the team, and they have a while because it's the last game of the day, I believe.
Yeah,
versus Envy Mocket. And Mocket is no easy foe. Like everyone always says, maybe count out Pesci, but you can't. You just can't. So they have to turn this around. Devo somehow, I think Remco has to sit down and be like, hey, you know what? Try and not be too upset. I feel like if you're upset, it might shut down Devo a bit too much. So try and be like, hey, you know what? We lost the series. We'll make it through the quarterfinals, and we have to start with Mocket here and just try and get his confidence back up. But at the same time, all 3 of them didn't play well, so it's not like it's just Devo's fault.
I thought Remco did decently, but when we see Envy do really well, it's, I think back to when Maestro was on the squad. You have that solid duo that can get the work done. Even when Greasy was on the team, all of them equally contributed, and they were a very fast-paced team that just, you pound the defense until they just miss a play and you slam it into the net off the backboard or off a center. And right now, they're not playing with any of that speed. So Remco and Greasy really need to get on the same page and start generating opportunities for Devo to come in and use his insane mechanical skill to get some crazy goals for him. But we just weren't seeing that from Envy. It was they were like playing in molasses. Yeah. It was tough.
Well, huge match there for XL, getting a 3-0 sweep. We're going to see them in a couple matches, and we are going to see Envy as their last match of the day against Mocket. We'll see if they can turn it around. But coming up next on the stream here on twitch.tv/Rocket League, we have Mocket entering the arena this time against Flipside Tactics as the best of 5s continue today. Match 2 of 6 coming up next. Stick around.